Welcome to the Voices of Valor podcast, where we celebrate pioneering women reshaping business and leadership. I'm Nada Khaddash Subah, the director of the Center for Women in Business at the Sulaiman Alayan School of Business at the American University of Beirut. In each episode, we bring you inspiring stories of women driving change, uplifting communities, and leaving a lasting impact. Today, we're honored to welcome Captain Rola Hoteit, Lebanon's first and only female airline captain. Captain Hoteit is an alumna of AUB. She holds a BS in mathematics and currently pursuing her MA in philosophy. Her remarkable journey highlights her groundbreaking achievements as the only Lebanese woman pilot. She also serves as the Executive Vice President for the Middle East at the International Federation of Airline Pilots Association, the first woman to ever hold this position. A Fellow of the Royal Aeronautical Society in the UK, Captain Hoteit has been recognized globally, named among the BBC's top 100 women in 2016, and as one of the top 100 influential Lebanese figures worldwide. Captain Hoteit, it's a privilege to have you with us today. You hold a bachelor's degree in mathematics and currently pursuing or completing your master's in philosophy at AUB. What lessons from your time at your alma mater have stayed with you throughout your journey?
Thank you, and thanks for having me today. I guess one of the best achievements I have done throughout my life is graduating from this university. I always used to say that Lebanon is the most beautiful country in the world, and AUB is the highlight of Lebanon. Anytime you set a foot inside AUB, you feel that you are in a place where you can really you can say anything, you can think anything, and you are a free person. So what I carried the Lebanese heritage plus the way of thinking that AUB gave us during the years I studied here.
Rula, we're definitely proud of you as AUB and as a successful female leader in the aviation industry, as we know that it's not socially welcome to be as a female aviation pilot or airline pilot. As Lebanon's first female pilot, you've shattered barriers for women in the region. Can you take us back to the beginning of your journey? What inspired you to pursue this career in aviation?
Well, honestly, as you know, I was an AUB student, and this happened almost 30 years back. And I was studying my math for my math degree. After finishing my first year at university, during the second junior year, I had a friend who was also a math major. He entered the math department carrying a newspaper which had an advertisement saying that MEA, which is our national carrier, is recruiting pilots during that year. So, and he was being sarcastic and saying, what if women apply and what if women become pilots? Well, he said, normally when there's traffic jam, it's mainly because of a woman trying to park your car. And if you buy a washing machine to a woman, it takes her years to be able to operate it. Let's not talk about even reading the manual. So, he was making fun that women cannot fly planes and cannot go into fields that are specifically meant for men. And I got really angry, and we had a huge argument. And then I told him, you know what, why don't we both apply, sit for the entrance exam, and we see who can pass that entrance exam. We both sat for the exam, which is, it was here at AUB. It was math algebra, math geometry, physics, IQ questions, and mechanical comprehension, as well as English assessment. And now, almost 30 years later, I fly planes and he does not.
That's nice.
So that was the beginning of it all.
Yeah, so it was somehow challenging for you to have just your career. So you didn't think before starting your career that you're being one day a pilot?
Never. Actually, I used to I lived my childhood years in South Lebanon. And as you know, we don't have airports there. So honestly, I never thought that I might be a pilot one day. For me, it was the very traditional way of thinking where I will finish my BS, maybe I will become a teacher, or if I was lucky enough, I would pursue a PhD and become a professor, but nothing more than that. I never believed that I would be a pilot traveling the world and going
Yeah.
into this field.
I can tell this is the cultural impact actually for just like how our traditions or society view that the safest job is being a teacher or finding this path. You know, but even today, women make up less than 6% of pilots worldwide. Why do you think so few women choose aviation as a career? And what can be done to change that, in your opinion?
Well, actually, there are several factors. One of them is exposure, because I don't think that women or little girls, they know that they can be pilots one day. So, for example, if I have a little girl coming with her brother into the plane and they come to visit the cockpit, I would always ask them, who would like to be a pilot when you grow up? And it's always the boy. And then the girl would say, women can be pilots, like, can I be a pilot? For them, the idea of being a pilot is not a very usual and normal idea.
Yeah.
So the norm is that men are pilots. So as children, men are oriented into thinking that one day I want to fly planes. So I believe exposure is the very first factor that prohibits women, like it limits them from thinking about being pilots. Another factor is the quality of life.
Yeah.
It's not easy to have a family and to be a female captain. Because, you know, like for us, if we want to have a family, if we want to have kids, emotionally we get attached. And that responsibility of raising children and being most of the time away from home, you know, like it looks like it's a bit contradictory or they're conflicting. It is and it is not. Like I cannot say that it is no, it's very easy. But for example, if you are a mother who has a sick child, and no matter what job you do, if you go to your job, at any point you can pick up the phone and call and check on your child, whether the child is at school or with your parents or at home, whatever. Like you can check, and you can call the doctor, and you can drive and go to your child if the child needs you. Whereas when you fly, once you take off, you are isolated up there. You can do nothing. You lose contact. You can not do, like you can, even if you have contact with these days,
don't
you have Wi-Fi
control.
on board, but you can do nothing about it.
Yeah.
You're stuck. And sometimes like you get to stay days away from home. So I believe also this conflict between having a family and raising a family and succeeding at your career is also another factor. And
Yeah, but how did you make it, Rola? You
Oh.
make it and you have a family, and we saw that and we know that.
And
you
if I was able to make it, then I believe everyone can. Like I'm not unique. I'm not someone who can do something nobody else
I
can.
mean, like it's challenging. Yet I believe that our traditions and our culture makes us feel as women just like more connected to our families. And if the mom was not there, this doesn't mean I'm not underestimating the role of a mother. Yet when we're parents, so when you have to do that job, like your spouse can go and just like take care of the kid. But do you believe that our traditions or societal impact is more than the society in other parts of the world?
Actually, I believe before we talk about the traditions, let's talk about us as Mediterranean people. We are more emotional.
Okay.
Like even if the spouse is taking care, or like he's devoted and he's ready to look after the children, we are so much emotional that we cannot let go. Like we cannot, if my child is sick, I have to be there for him. So first of all, we're made differently, really.
Yeah.
Second, it is the traditions and cultures. And third, it is, I believe, any title we decide to carry, if we cannot be up to it, let's not go there. For example, like when I decided to be a pilot, or when I decided to be a mother, or when I decided to be a wife or a student, if I believe deep inside that I'm not up to it, I'm not saying that I have to succeed. We don't know what could happen in the future. But at least we have to be mentally ready to go through that experience. And to be able to carry several titles at the same time is to be able to know how to put your priorities in life. Like at certain points in life, at certain times, and trust me, the priorities, they change within hours or within minutes or within days, like priorities change.
Exactly.
Again, let's go back to the sick child. If I have a sick child, then I would rather not go on a flight and stay home instead of going for my flight. So at that point, I would prioritize my child over my career.
Yeah.
And at different points, I would prioritize my education, my health issues, like anything. So as long as we are adaptable and we are, like we can change our priorities, we will be able to succeed.
It's always healthy. Definitely change is always healthy. So, what's one common misconception people have about being a pilot? And how do you usually address that? Like, people actually, whenever you say you're a pilot, what's the first misconception that they ask you about or they tell you about?
I guess a misconception. First of all, most people, we're talking about now 2024, 2025.
Yeah.
Like it's different, the mentality is different. But if we're talking about 1993 when I applied, it was the first misconception is women cannot fly planes.
Yeah.
So, but life has changed, definitely. People have changed, their way of thinking have changed over time. But back then, nobody would believe that a woman can fly planes. Even my grandmother, until the day she died, she believed that I was a hostess, a cabin crew. Like she never would believe that I was a pilot. So that was one of the misconceptions which I had to address. And in order to address that misconception, I had to go to schools, to universities, to tell girls that you can be pilots. Because if I retire as being the only female pilot in Lebanon, then I believe I would have failed at some point. Because if I tell you they have hired a woman for any job, any vacancy, and they didn't take anybody else after her, then as an experiment, she failed. Otherwise, they would have accepted others. So I took it as a mission to have other female pilots in Lebanon. Like I guess my field is in Lebanon, my playground is in Lebanon. So I went to schools, I went to universities, I went on talk shows, I went on TV, because after 20 years, I realized that I was still the first one and the only one. And then luckily, now we have 5 female co-pilots in Lebanon, and one day definitely they're going to be captains. So I believe that misconception is ruled out now.
That's nice, Rola. Actually, you just like succeeded and big time being this role model that you'll be like driving the change or helping little girls or graduates to just like try to choose or go in this field one day. Aviation involves high pressure situations. How do you really stay calm and focused whenever you're flying? And what advice do you start giving your co-pilots or the crew during such situations?
Well, yes, very true. Aviation is a very stressful environment. Man was not born to fly. Man was born maybe to walk, swim, run, but man was not born to fly. And even if man was born to fly, man was not born to, even if man, a woman, even a human being is born to be able to fly in a machine, then even the speed and the pressure at which we operate is not something usual. Like we fly at 1,000 kilometers per hour at an altitude which is above 30,000 feet. The environment is not a usual environment for human beings to survive. This is a normal situation. On top of that, you have the emergencies. Like we could get any emergency, whether it's related to weather, or related to machinery, like computer failures or whatever, or related to human issues. We can have a sick passenger, we can have someone who has a phobia of flying.
Or wars, for example.
Or war, but this rarely happens.
Yeah.
So how do we cope with that? Okay, we're trained for that. First of all, you have to be trained. As long as you have the knowledge and you are really well trained, then you can react properly. So the thing is, when it comes to aviation and the stress about facing problems in aviation and in flying is the time factor. For example, if I give you now a problem that has a solution, I'm pretty sure that you're going to give me the solution. It might take you hours, days. You can know the solution, or you can call someone, or you can Google it, or you can ask Siri. Like there is a way to get the solution as long as I give you enough time. With flying, we do not have the time. We have to react fast, and react right. So the only thing we can depend on is our knowledge, our training, and definitely the other, the crew members we have. But there is nothing else to depend on. And this is what makes it a stressful job. And again, I say to cope, it's training and the knowledge.
Yeah, and it's easier, I think, now with just like the development of the internet access during flights. This was not available.
But we cannot use internet. And even if we can use internet, we do not have time to send a message and wait for the answer. If you have an engine fire, you have an engine fire. You have to land, you have to react, you have to know where to land. And you cannot send a message to someone, tell them, well, I'm over the ocean. One airport is that far from me. Like, we have to do it. We have to depend on ourselves.
So we
that's
are
it.
passengers somehow are luckier than the pilots and the crew. Yeah.
Lucky, yes, they can sit back and relax, but we get to do the nice job.
Looking back, what has been your greatest career achievement so far, and why does it hold such a significance for you?
Being the female captain, the first female captain, definitely it is an achievement. And why? Just being the first, I guess, it's really something. I feel so proud that I was able to break all those barriers and to prove to people that women can fly planes and they can follow their dreams, whatever their dreams are.
You know, Rola, you mentioned that you're from South Lebanon. Do you feel that for example, your small village or your community, just like now, welcome more being a pilot, or they're proud of you, or they just like confess that we never trusted that you're going to be successful one day, or you don't face like these situations?
Well, definitely, coming from the South, it means that I come from a very conservative mentality. It's
Yeah.
normal. And even my parents, like when I told my father that I want to be a pilot, he was 100% against. Like he wouldn't even accept. He would say, like, how can I find someone who would marry a woman, my daughter, and who is flying, like she's not sleeping at home, she could be in any country. There is no way you're going to be a pilot. And like he was really very keen about it, which made me come back to AUB during one of the days. Like I used to go during the weekend to the South, stay at my parents' house, and then on Sunday afternoon or Monday morning, I would come back to AUB because I used to stay at the dorms. And during one of those days, I came back, I dropped all my courses, I took all my things, and I went back home. And I told my father, I'm not going back to AUB. It's either I become a pilot, or you go find me the man that you want me to marry. He wasn't able to find the man, so he had to give up eventually, and I became a pilot.
That's so inspiring, actually. In the male-dominated fields, just like the aviation that you're in, what role do you think women can play in advancing the idea of this gender parity and inspiring the next generation? So you and the 6% that we have, and now we're happy the 5 co-pilots that we're just like awaiting as well to see them captains one day. What do you think you can do?
Well, actually, I believe that women can do everything. I'm one of the people who believe that women are women and men are men. I'm not like someone who say, oh, a woman is a man, or no. We're human beings. Mentally, we're equal. The opportunities should be equal, but this doesn't negate that a woman is a woman.
Yeah.
So, but the good thing about women, I guess that women can handle several issues at the same time. Men are more focused. And that gives us an advantage in being more successful at what we do. We are dedicated, we are committed, and we are multitasked. So, but you know, like before, we weren't tested. But now, with time, and with the new careers we're going into, I believe we were able to prove that we can do anything. I'm really happy that more women are coming into the aviation industry, and I hope more women will go into any other industry. It's not only aviation, and to prove that we can succeed, definitely.
Yeah, actually, I agree. The most important thing is that we're not giving good opportunities. Luckily, we are in a community just like AUB that supports and just like give chances and equal opportunities in order to just like reach what we want to achieve, and where we want. And definitely just like the opportunity, and I don't want it to say the luck, but being in this community that just like you knew about this aviation opportunity, then you applied. I think lots of women, and we're thankfully, you're doing this for young girls in schools, universities, just like to know that they can. So I think this is an important role that we thank you for. Rola, as a pilot, we know that you hold the leadership skills for your work as a pilot, as well as for your more than one leadership hat that you're holding nowadays. May you please tell us about leadership specific in your role?
Well, the most important quality a captain would carry is to be a good leader. The mission is to take the plane, passengers and the crew from point A to point B safely and easily. Like they have to be, at least, as we said, sit back and relax during the flight. And it's not easy because every flight is different than the other. Like normally, maybe I would be flying to the same destination for 2 consecutive days, and still it would be a completely different experience. The co-pilot is different, the crew is different, The passengers are different, even different plane, different weather, different conditions. We can have certain emergencies that we didn't have the day before, the next day. So what happens is usually a captain would walk into the office where he or she is to report. And once we report, we are introduced to our co-pilot and the team. We're going to be leading for the flight. So I would walk into the office and I will have my co-pilot and my cabin crew members sitting there. And I need to brief those members for exactly 10 minutes. Now, normally, when you have a team and you have a leader of a team, it takes years for them to train and to get used and to know how to finish a certain mission they are supposed to do. For example, in football and basketball and anywhere you go, if there is a team and a leader, they need years and years of experience. And if it's not years, at least weeks. But with our career, all what I have is a 10 minutes briefing. And during that 10 minutes briefing, I need to understand the character of each crew member who is on my team. And I need to be, like, if I find a shy member, I have to help that shy person in making them speak out. Because that shy person might be the person who could see a certain emergency. And if she is shy to speak out, we could all end up dying. And if I see a bully, for example, like, characters, you have different characters within a team. So within 10 minutes, I have to understand the character of each person and to help them to tune their characters in order to be able to achieve the mission from point A to point B safely. And I have to tell them about the emergencies we could face, about the weather, about anything that is special about that flight. And this is also done through leadership training, which we have to take during all our experience. And that's why a captain doesn't get to the position of a captain unless she has finished at least 10 to 15 years of flying as a co-pilot.
Wow.
And every 6 months, from the very first day we start our career until the day we retire, every 6 months, we have to sit for exams. And those exams, they are medical, oral exams, written exams, and also flight simulator exams. And leadership qualities are tested during every exam. So every 6 months, we are tested and trained for that. And then after like 10 to 15 years, we could get promoted to a captain position, provided we have the proper leadership skills. Because the flying skills you can acquire during those 15 years. But the leadership skills, you have to really be a good leader. And once we finish as a co-pilot and we are getting promoted to captains, then we have like 3 to 6 months of training and examinations where they test mainly our leadership qualities.
Wow, that's inspiring. So you stay like 10 to 15 years, just like gradually being prepared to be the captains that you fly us to the world.
Yeah.
That's nice. So definitely we usually say the leadership is the leader themselves, he or she, and the situation as well as the team. And you just like summarized what we mentioned about leadership. Finally, as you look to the future, is there a personal or professional dream you still hope to achieve?
Actually, yes, I do. And I'm in the process of doing it. I'm writing a book now, a novel.
Ah, that's nice.
And actually, and that's why I went into philosophy at AUB, because I believe with philosophy, it will give you the right way of thinking with math and philosophy and the flying. I would like to put all of those in one novel. Yeah, it's not a book, definitely. I prefer writing a novel because I believe that people would get more attached to it. So I'm in the process of that.
Is it in English or in
English,
Arabic?
yes. Unfortunately,
English.
I can't write properly in Arabic.
Okay.
That's one of my dreams. I hope
Will we see it soon, or you still don't know?
The thing is, I was supposed to finish it soon, like within this year. But with the new position being the executive board member in IFALPA, it's taking more of my time now. So hopefully in 1 year, I should quit that post and then focus on my book.
So we're eagerly waiting to read and just like have it in our libraries as well. Thank you for giving us your time today. Actually, we are proud, and we know that the last 2 or 3 months in the country were not that easy. We know how stressful it was, and we are thankfully again as Lebanese that you kept on making it with the Middle East Airlines, and looking forward to see more of your achievements and having you in on other podcasts or in other interviews or events.
Thank you. Thanks a lot and good luck.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Voices of Valor. Captain Rola Hoteit has shared remarkable insights. The women we highlight on this podcast exemplify courage, resilience, and leadership, redefining the future of business and beyond. Through their stories, we aim to remind you of the transformative power of determination, collaboration, and positive action. Join us next time for more empowering conversation with women who are driving meaningful change. Until then, continue to embrace your own voice of valor.